enjoy their days and time here. And so I would say, based on all the hard work that's been done and the future of tourism done well in a collaborative effort between Wells, between the Wells family, between the citizens. The other aspect here is, previously, either under our foundation of Side by Side or the chamber for a while, none of those were structured as a 501c3, which now allows us to go after state and national grants, which is a big way that our friends to the north help fund a lot of things that they do. In many ways, the things that we're modeling out today are the things that the Tulip Festival has done and done well for a number of years and done successfully. And I think we've learned well from others.
Thank you, Mike.
I just want to make it clear that I want to make sure that it's not contingent on the 2% vote. I myself am going to vote for the 2% vote, period. We need it. I pay it everywhere I go. I guess I'm a little bit, maybe I'm really the dullest knife in the room, but a memorandum of understanding, I don't know the term, and I'm not sure I do understand the term. So, Mike, one of you.
What's your question?
What is it?
It's us agreeing in the event that the vote passes,
Okay.
we'll provide this entity funding. It's
But
us saying that that's what we're gonna do.
But I thought we're not funding it.
We're gonna fund it through the increased 2%.
But if it doesn't pass, the entity will continue, is that correct?
Sure, their entity will continue, but our funding obligation.
Your
will
funding
cease.
obligation
And then maybe they'll come back and ask for more money at that point.
Okay.
Maybe they won't. I don't know.
I also see it as a fair piece of information for the voters to know when they go to vote for this, that this is where that money's going.
Okay.
Well, I would take even a different approach, Mayor, and that is, nobody's asking the city to fund 100% of this. This is 75% funded from other entities. And nobody's asking the city to do anything other than take advantage of the 2% increase in hotel motel tax that's laying on the table today. Effectively, it won't cost the city anything. You could argue those funds could have gone to the other entities that are getting revenues today, but you can also argue that tourism done well in this community should double or triple the amount of hotel motel tax that we generate over time.
Should increase the 5 we're already receiving.
That's
I
correct.
understand that.
Yep.
And an office space, we're giving you an office space, correct?
It's empty
That's
today.
fine. But I just,
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like a letter of intent as well. I mean, I know on plywood we did that. We got people to say, yes, we agree, this is something we want to work with you on. It doesn't bind them to anything particularly in that
Okay.
instance, but I
All right.
think it's a good idea.
with those explanations, I can.
And I will add that we talked about the Pioneer Village Christmas. You saw the newspaper article, if you chance read it, you saw the name Earl Utach. That is my grandfather. My grandpa started that celebration. He and Whitey Close were hand in hand in getting those things going. And Dick Mazoon with the lighted Christmas parade. There's been some incredible festivals. The Bluegrass Festival that has come to Lamar's. And these things, when the organizers and the volunteers get tired of it or fizzle out, then we lose that. And the goal is to establish a foundation that can perpetuate the ones that we have, Ice Cream Days and Christmas in Hometown, and hopefully prop up any other new ones that come aboard and Pioneer Village and continue to support those with dollars and volunteers. And that's the goal, is to change the course for all of these events.
It would be tied to particular individuals. It'd be tied to
Yeah.
an umbrella
Right, so I
group.
think that's really well said, Rob. The only additional comment I would make, the current board is advocated the way it is for the transfer of knowledge. So the people that are serving on that board today are the people that are actively involved in Christmas in Hometown, Ice Cream Days, and that is the core of our tourism today. and the opportunity to transfer that knowledge over time. And I don't want to serve on every board in this community the rest of my life, and nobody wants me to do that. But I think it's important, at least at this initial stage, in the way that that board has been put together, that it takes that tribal knowledge of what's already being done today and makes sure that those things get transferred well into the future.
Please don't think I'm a terrible grandson for not perpetuating that event, but it's just not my thing.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
It's not my thing.
I'll add one last piece of feedback too. Part of the reason we proceeded with an MOU in the way that we did was that this was an opportunity to also give the city oversight of that process, so that as more events or as more tourism opportunities arise, we want the city to actually have a piece of that and make sure that you actually have controls in that to say it's not just an independent entity doing their own thing. The city has investment in that too.
Sure.
Then I would make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Lamar's and the Hometown Lamar's Heritage Foundation.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all.
Then I would move on to motion to approve and appoint Brad Pick to serve as City Council Representative on the HLHF Board of Directors.
Second.
I would add that this has been cleared by Brad. He's willing to serve, so.
I assume as
Even
with
though
most
he's not-
appointments, it's something that the mayor has talked to somebody
Yes,
about already.
yes, and it's gonna be no different than appointments to our other committees every year. This is just a new one, so. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to action item D2, Floyd Valley Apartments lease agreement. Current owner of Floyd Valley Apartments, Weinberg Investments, Inc., intends to sell the property THR Floyd, LLC. With the sale, Weinberg Investments, Inc. is asking the council to approve the assignment of the land lease with the City of Lamar's to THR Floyd, LLC. The current land lease term expires on February 28, 2077. The City of Lamar's receives land lease payments as followed. $5,000 a year for 2023 to 2028, $75,000 a year for 2029 to 2033, $10,000 a year for 2034 to 2038, $12,500 a year for 2039 to 2044, $15,000 a year from 2045 to 2050, $17,500 for 2051 to 2055, and $20,000 a year for the balance of the lease term. Administration is recommending council proceed to a hearing.
I did include, documentation will be in the packet at the hearing. There's some things that are still being worked out, I believe. Mike's been involved too, so. Hey, Roger. Hello. Where were you hiding at?
Because of the duration of the lease term, it requires a hearing be set by the council. Because of the existing lease with Floyd Valley Apartments, they have to get your okay to assign the lease. So that's why it's gonna come before you in 2 weeks at your next council meeting. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically Mr. Weinberg is getting out of the business.
Yes.
And selling assets to different entities. And so this entity wants to take over that lease, run it as it's been run, and just continue on with the way things have been. Fair?
Yes, Mike. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Roger Codder, and I represent Sioux Falls Environmental Access, which is the owner of the building, and Lou Weinberg, with Weinberg Investment, who is the lessee in your for your land. Lou and Roland Samp. Roland Samp is the president of the nonprofit Sioux Falls Environmental Access Incorporated. Both are aging, and both over 80, and we are in the process of liquidating properties related to both entities. And so we have been working with a client. This is a nonprofit from Milwaukee that will be taking over it. So it'll go from nonprofit ownership to nonprofit ownership. The I have to remind myself, THR Floyd LLC is an entity that will be set up within the structure of the nonprofit to own and operate this particular building. And in this process, we're going through THR Floyd LLC is applying for financing for the purchase and renovation. And the budget for the renovation is about $2 million. That'll be a part of the financing package for that. And that will be a HUD guaranteed loan through Centennial Mortgage Company. And the requirements of that is that they'll be bringing up additional systems. They'll be doing renovation work to the building. I believe they're going to do new kitchens, new floor coverings, kind of just generally improve the overall condition of the building and add to the improvements that Sioux Falls Environmental Access and Weinberg have done recently, including the elevator rehab, new fire, the extension of the fire suppression system into the apartments with the great help of the fire chief, and also updating like the fire panel and those kinds of things. So there's been a couple of $100,000 worth of renovation that's been done in the last couple of years, and there's plans for another $2 million worth of renovations to go into it. The building is today, I think it's 47 units of the 59 are Section 8. And so the Section 8 certificate provides rental subsidy to the tenant. And so the tenant pays 30% of their income towards rent, and then HUD pays the rest of it. And so through that program, we, and then of course the folks from THR Floyd, which is a subsidy of Trinity Housing Resources out of I believe it's Milwaukee, the nonprofit, the parent nonprofit, will continue to have these units be affordable to low and moderate income people. So for that, it's kind of an overall.
Your numbers on subsidies, the remaining are market rate? Is that how that is?
Remaining or market rate currently.
Okay. And then you brought up the elevator, because that was one that I knew was an issue, but I was gonna
Yes.
ask where that was, is that in perfectly good now?
Elevator has been completely modernized, including a remake of the cab, so it is all new equipment up to today's date. We've been working with the fire chief, and he's been fabulous to work with, so that piece of the puzzle's already been done.
That was our fire chief?
Yeah.
Oh,
Excuse me?
just making sure that was our fire chief?
Your fire chief.
So,
Yeah.
on the,
Yeah.
Orange City.
Sorry.
so I don't wanna run down a bunny trail, but on the $2 million in renovation, is that somewhere guaranteed, Mike? The reason I'm asking?
No,
Okay,
all we're doing is assigning the lease, that's all the hearing's about.
okay.
There is a separate document that deals with their financer wanting to get an interest in the lease that is still being worked out.
Okay.
But no, there is no
Okay.
requirement.
Okay, good enough.
And our lease is just the land clerk, just to,
Right.
so, but not the property.
Somebody provide a backstory or reason why do we lease this ground instead of selling it to them?
I don't know.
That relates back to the 1977 conversion of the building from Sacred Heart Hospital to the apartments that was done by Lease and companies out of Des Moines, or out of Sioux City, Klinger. Gleason. I have no idea why it was set up that way.
Okay.
Would it be beneficial to not
Not
lease
right
it?
now. We gotta get this done.
Okay.
So today we'll be setting a public hearing for 2 weeks from now. I'll be back in 2 weeks. If you like, I'll see if I can get a detailed budget of what the renovation plans are.
Not if Mike doesn't want it.
Why?
I mean, that's totally up to you. But are you an attorney for this guy? Is that what you are?
No, I am a community development and construction consultant.
Okay.
I oversaw the renovation work on the elevators and other work. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades.
I know you look familiar.
I used to be community development director in Sioux City. So.
Got the old good-looking Colonel.
Yes, thank you.
You've
Appreciate
been
it.
here 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years.
And I've been here a few times in the last few years, yeah. And mine's a little grayer than yours is, so.
Motion establishing July 15, 2025 at 12 o'clock PM as the date and time for a public hearing on assignment of the existing Floyd Valley Apartments lease.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Opposed?
folks, I appreciate it very
Thanks,
much.
Mike.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Item D3, annexation. Attached are the documents for voluntary annexation of land south of the city limits. The land contains 37.55 acres owned by Dogwood Properties LLC. The consultation meeting is scheduled for July 2, 2025 with the county supervisors, and hearing notices must be sent to each affected utility, Plymouth County supervisors, Plymouth County attorney, and each adjoining property owner. Administration recommends council proceed to a public hearing.
Motion to establish August 5th of 25 at 12 p.m. as the date and time for public hearing on voluntary annexation of certain land south of the current city limits.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. D4, Eocene Services Agreement, Centennial Demolition. Attached is a services agreement with Eocene Environmental Group to provide bidding and contract documents for the demolition of Centennial Hall building at 1140 3rd Avenue Southeast. Eocene previously performed an asbestos inspection and prepared documents for asbestos removal. The asbestos removal was awarded to Environmental Property Solutions and is anticipated to be completed by September 29, 2025. Demolition of the building will occur shortly after asbestos removal. Administration is recommending council approve the agreement. Financial impact: the property currently is in the Lamar's Highway 75 bypass urban renewal area and is therefore eligible for TIF reimbursement of costs.
Yes, so the financial part, yes, it is eligible. We will need to make a change to our urban revitalization plan to add this in as a project. But that's just a simple process, so that'll need to be done. And hopefully that'll be done sometime in August. Asbestos is supposed to start in August. So the intent is to get these documents done so we can get this out to bid. So as soon as asbestos is done, we can get into the demo work. So.
Motion to approve the agreement with Eocene Environmental Group to provide bidding and contract documents for the demolition of Centennial Building in the amount of $13,500.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion items.
I was
Jason.
Nick just left, but I was just gonna suggest, unless you wanna sell the building to Nick.
Nope.
Jason?
Jokingly. What happened?
No, discussion items.
Oh.
What do you got?
Discussion item.
We've sold that building 2 or 3 times. I think we're done so.
Yeah, that's,
I can't speak for everybody
Please,
else.
let's be done.
Okay, the first thing I want to touch on is RFPs for Business 75 were due last Friday. I received 6 of them. We have a Public Works meeting set up for next Monday morning to go through those 6 and then have a recommendation
Sometime in
to
August.
council for the next council meeting.
Okay.
So, and then I want to touch on, since trees have been discussed lately, we did have a Public Works meeting committee meeting last Wednesday, I believe it was. We reviewed, took a look at what our city ordinance sections are that pertain to trees. We also looked at the policy that we've essentially used for the last decade or so It was decided from that committee that no word change was needed for the ordinances, but there was an agreement that the concerns that we took in, that there would be a more proactive approach to addressing dead limbs, especially dangerous ones, and getting them out of the trees that are in the park. So that's where we are with the tree situation. Then we had a big storm, so.
Took a lot of
A lot of
them
it came
anyway.
down.
I got some harassing calls about if that was the tree removal I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, but anyway.
That there was not the tree they were talking about.
God was listening.
That was all I had.
Okay.
4th of July weekend, so.
Joe, you have anything for us?
I do not have anything to add.
Mark?
Nope. Just remind
Steve?
people if they want trees removed by the city, to make sure they get them to the parking.
Yeah. Yeah, my reminder was that, as well as our tree and grass dump site is open all week till 7 PM. And people out there were very appreciative of that. Ran into a lot of folks, so. Yeah.
It was busy on Sundays.
Yeah.
Oh, it was nuts. It was nuts.
And the crews are doing a great job getting it organized too.
Yep. And just a reminder, Plymouth County Fair, July 23rd to 27. Seems early this year, but yeah, keep that on your radar.
Me and my wife argued about that. I said it was always
Yeah. Clark?
Couple things, and this is not an apology for my approach, but a lot of people think I'm really critical on these things. But I want to remind some people, the reason I am is because the reason I was asking about the improvements at Floyd Valley Apartments is because where are we at on our promise for our lowball sale, which I support, of Park Place, and the promise of the $750,000 kitchen addition? So I'd like, Charles Mock Library, we sell it for a song on a promise. Centennial, we've sold it many times on a promise. And sometimes I think we're just